Yes, guys, welcome back to the Once You're In podcast. Welcome to a new series that we've just decided we're going to do.
So we've also done a new angle.
New angle for the new series. Hope you like the new angle. Makes me look bigger because it's close to me.
Yeah, you look massive in comparison.
I am massive.
All the way in the distance.
So this is underrated or overrated. Okay, so basically this is a series where Reese and I are going to choose different topics, and we'll probably ask you guys to send some topics in for underrated or overrated, where basically we're going to discuss these topics and say whether we think they're overrated or underrated. So it's going to be training, nutrition, bodybuilding related. So I've picked 5, Reese has picked 5.
We don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't know mine, I don't know his. Yeah. We'll go alternate and then we'll debate.
What I think we should have done is we should get like Sanaya or like my mum here as a mediator. She
well,
gives us a list.
We need to do that when we do lies.
Yeah.
We need to do lies, and we need to get somebody in as like a host,
an official
official.
Official. I was going to say officiator, but I decided I'd do it both at the same time.
You going first or I'm going first?
You go first, mate. Feel free.
Underrated or overrated? Cream of rice. You have to say underrated or overrated before, and you can't be on the fence.
What do you mean underrated? What do you mean?
So you have to go underrated or overrated, and then you can't be on the fence.
Overrated by a mile.
Cream of rice overrated.
Yes. Yeah. It's just carbs. Don't disagree with me. You think the same. You can't say it's underrated, bro.
No, it's not. It's definitely not underrated. No. I don't know if it's overrated.
I think it is because it's just food.
Yeah,
it's just carbs. Like
I'd say it's. I don't think people go, "Oh, cream of rice, the best thing ever," but I think it's overutilized. Like people will have cream of rice who don't even like it, or they hate how they can't make it, but because Cuba has it or whatever, they're like, oh, I've got to have it. Yeah. Like, so it is overrated.
Yeah, I think that's what we both agreeing. Overrated.
Have we got to agree on them?
No, I don't think we've got to agree, but I think we've got to just voice our opinions.
Yeah, I would say it's overrated by the vast majority, but I think for anybody who understands nutrition, they're not going to be like, oh, you've got to have cream of rice. But like a lot of people think like, oh, it's a bodybuilding food you should have. Yeah,
right. I'll go for a wider range. I've put supplements.
You got to say underrated or overrated.
Underrated or overrated. Supplements.
Mate, yours are way too wide. We need to be more particular. I've got some quite particular.
No, that's the most wide one. I've got 2 that are wide. The rest are very narrow.
Choose a supplement.
Oh God. Whey protein, easy.
Whey protein.
Yeah, whey protein. Whey pissed. Unless it's whey pissed, it's underrated. I'm gonna say underrated. I'm gonna say underrated for whey protein.
I'm supposed to say you don't do yours and then say.
Mate, come on.
That's like me going underrated or overrated cream of rice, and then me going, well, I think.
crack on.
Okay, so whey protein, similar to cream of rice in terms of flavors and stuff. I'm going to say underrated. Yeah. Because I feel like people...
Mate, we need to disagree.
People shit on it. People are like, oh, I shouldn't have all my meals, or I'm having 3 scoops of whey, I want to have more whole food. And it's like, I class whey protein as a whole food. It is a byproduct of a whole food. Yeah. The amino acid profile is one of the best you can get as a protein source. Yeah. I think it is underrated. I think a lot of people think it's not a good protein source.
Volume can be
a lot
low.
Of the time it's actually a really good protein source.
Usually really well.
Loads of different flavors. Yeah. You can utilize it in different ways as a shake, as a whippist.
You can utilize whey in loads of different ways.
You can.
So many ways
you can even say puns with it. Yeah. So
no way.
Yeah, way. You can.
Way. Oh, no way. No way, right, guys. So
it is underrated.
It is underrated, yeah.
Mainly because you can do the puns.
Yeah, mainly the puns. You can't do the puns, it would be shit. If it didn't have a name called Whey. And also, I think, you know why I think it has a bit of a bad rep at times? Because of how many shit quality wheys that they were / they are still now. Like when we used to grow up and buy my protein whey, it was awful. I used to have bulk powders whey. And it was shocking.
I used to used to gip drinking my cinnamon Danish my protein whey.
It was awful. And also as well, because when you're young, you didn't have much information out there. You got the cheapest way, and we bought a tub, and you'd be like, I've got to stick with it now.
Mate, 5 kilos from my protein.
Finn's
5 kilos.
Favourite story ever is buy 5 kilos of a whey that he hated, and he would drink it every day crying.
I'd literally be on the way home from work drinking it before I trained, being sick. And then I'd have one post-workout as well, and I'd dread it, and I'd go and have it anyway.
I don't want to eat it.
The thing is, though, I think you almost, nowadays, probably not, but at that time, you had to go through that stage to sort of understand. There was probably more information out there, but Not a lot. I feel like there
remember
wasn't that much.
Getting like a
information.
strawberry whey from Gold Standard Optimum Nutrition, and it was like, it was the worst month of my life. I literally was like, I think one time I like made it a little bit too little water. I was like, I'll throw it away. So I was just
I had to throw 10 away.
No, just do another scoop. And I just remember thinking to myself, every time I was like having it, I was having it the same, so pre and post workout, and I was like,
It's funny, isn't it? Though,
Yeah.
like, I feel like back in the day, you'd search about protein, and it'd be like, have a whey protein shake pre and post workout. Like that was like essential.
I used to have one on the way to the gym, and then like when I'd be done at the gym,
Yeah.
like not immediately. I was never one of those who was like second done with the gym.
I used to have it
smash a
when I
shake,
got into the
but-
changing room. So like, I'd
Yeah.
go down to the changing room, and it was in my locker, and I'd have it, and then
Yeah.
I'd get changed and get ready and go,
Yeah, mental.
and
that
I'd
is.
like down it, and I
I
hated
feel
it.
like you wouldn't. No one does that anymore. Like, do people still do that? Like, have a shake? Maybe
That's
in
why
like,
no one's growing anymore.
yeah, that's what
That
you
is
used to
the
have
sole
to do.
reason.
Yeah, we used to train arms every day, and then just slam a shake pre and
Yeah.
post, and actually grow some muscle.
Actually looked
Fucking
alright
hell,
then.
crazy. Yeah, mate.
Underrated or overrated? Pre-workout.
Oh, this is just supplements then.
Yeah, exactly. Yours was shit.
Can we say pre-workout? What, like nutrition or just
No,
supplement?
this
Like,
is I meant pre-workout as a supplement.
If it's Conviction Elite or Mega Pump and you use ReseFit 10, no,
It's underrated.
underrated. But anything else overrated. I think overrated.
Yeah, I'm
Massively.
talking about stim pre-workout.
Yeah, Stimpre, yeah, overrated massively. Please say you like. Do you disagree or do you
No, I
agree?
completely agree. Like I literally say to people like the only times I'll ever really recommend people take a stim pre is if they train in the morning,
Yeah.
like, and if they really feel like they need that kind
Yeah.
of boost. But like, yeah, I would, if you're training any later than early afternoon, I wouldn't be utilizing it. I think the cons of the impact it's going to have on your sleep outweigh the pros. And the thing is as well, a lot of it is placebo. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever taken a pre and gone, oh my god, that session was amazing because of the pre. A lot of it is that placebo effect. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
there's benefits definitely, but I wouldn't be saying you have to have a stim pre to train well. It's like, if we're looking at supplementation, it's one of the least important supplements. Like,
Yes.
I wouldn't be saying, oh, you're not
It's
taking
all-
the reason you're not
yeah.
making progress because you're not taking
You're
a
not
stim
taking any
pre.
pre-workout, bro. I think like maybe towards the back end of a diet, like let's say energy levels are lower. Like let's say, for example, the problem is though it can be a real negative circle where people go, "I'm tired, so I'm going to take pre," and then it affects their sleep, and then they're more tired, and it's just a constant.
And then they also just increase the
Yeah, they start
dose, and then they build up
increasing,
more of a tolerance to
Yeah.
increase it more. And then you've got more of the negative effects
Yeah.
from it.
And it just becomes more like grief than what it's actually worth. I think like
Less is more.
yeah, less is more. Taking a little bit, like in the last probably 6 months, I might have taken Stim Pre like 5 to 10 times, and it'll be like in the morning or prior to a deadlift session or something that I'm like, cool, I'll get a little bit of a pick me up. And I'm gonna be honest, I prefer it way more. I actually get a bit of benefit out of
Yeah,
it. When you
that's,
take it every
that's
day,
what I mean. Less
you
is
don't
more.
notice it,
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, I literally had the conversation with a client today. He was saying like, oh, I'm having more caffeine again, and I need to improve it. Like, it's too much. And I was saying to him like, my caffeine intake is like pretty much. I might get a Starbucks now and again. Often it's decaf anyway, so it's like 5 milligrams. But at the minute we train on that Saturday session. I've done it in the last 2 weeks. I've trained a bit earlier, so I've
Yeah.
used Conviction like
Yeah.
half a scoop.
Yeah.
So it's like what 175 milligrams of caffeine.
Yeah.
Like, that's it, and I actually feel it.
Yeah, you
Actually, I'm
notice,
like, oh,
yeah, you
like,
notice
whereas
it,
if I was to have that every day or have a monster every day and then have that, I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel it. Or I'd have to double that and then
Yeah.
I'd have more of a crash after it. Or it'd impact my sleep and my digestion and my appetite later in the day. So
Yeah.
my post-workout wouldn't sit as well. Like, there's definitely more downsides to it, in my opinion.
I think a lot of times with pre-workout though as well, a lot of people, it's always the stories of like, I took this pre and I was stimmed out my mind, I had best session ever, I was bouncing off the walls. So it's a bit of a legend where people think like this pre-workout is this like miracle
Yeah.
like thing that you
It's
take and
definitely
immediately
like the
train
majority
so
of it
much
is
better.
placebo.
Yeah,
Caffeine, yeah, it's great. It's a good supplement, but
yeah.
Outside
when
of
used,
that.
yeah, when used well and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Right, I've got fats.
fats. Mate, yours are awful. Mine
Under
are
or
so...
overrated? Fats is a macronutrient. Think about most people, it's low fat. How, mate? That's an awful comment from you. That's not bad.
I thought we were going pretty specific. I feel like fats is quite a broad one. Like, you could have said this as a dietary fat source.
Okay, fructose then, bro. Fructose. No.
Right, okay, fats.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fats.
no,
That's what I mean. Because if you think about what most people in bodybuilding, it's carbs and protein. And people just have fats at a baseline.
dietary fats. I'll
Yeah,
put.
dietary fats.
Okay, yeah, I would say underrated. I think people neglect them. I
Yeah.
think people undervalue their role in like hormonal function and general health, like especially like just brain function, energy levels throughout the day, testosterone production, sleep. Like people will say to us like, oh, you know, my test levels are low, and then you'll like look at their dietary fats and their only fat source is dark chocolate, and it's like 20 grams of it a day. The rest of their fats just come from trace fats from really poor sources. Really poor sources, or like their chicken breast comes with 10 grams of fat because they're having battered chicken from the freezer. It's like, or chicken nuggets as their protein source. Like, so quality fats definitely underrated. Like I think people neglect them. Not a lot of people have high quality essential fatty acids in the diet. Things that are going to come, like salmon is a really good one. Generally, like I'll try and say to my clients, have something like salmon or like an oily fish in your diet across the week, even if it's just on rest days. For your training days, maybe having something like nut butter, like a decent one as well, not just like the cheapest peanut butter in Tesco. Get like let's say like an almond butter, or like an actual decent quality one. Dark chocolate is a decent one, high percentage dark chocolate. Otherwise,
like
egg yolks.
Like 60%, 50% dark chocolate.
Nah, it's awful.
Yeah.
I actually say to clients 80% plus.
Yeah. I say the same. I remember Sinai got one. It was like 55%, and in Canada, I was like, "That's just chocolate. Like, I'm not going to eat that. Like, you can. I'm not. Like, it's just if I wanted to eat chocolate, I'll
just have chocolate.
Yeah.
So I definitely think they're underrated. I think people do neglect them. And even if people don't neglect them from a dietary standpoint, like, oh, I'm on 80 fats, usually that's not from good quality fats. It's usually just from a poor diet. Yeah,
I agree. Most people that we get signed up to, like, I'll usually see like 70, 80 grams of fat, but there's like you said, two food
I always
sources.
Think like, that's all right. Like 70, if somebody had on a rest day 80 fats and on a training day 60, but they came from really good sources, I'd be like, that's great.
But
that's
most
fine.
of the time it isn't.
No, it's usually maybe 10 grams from good
sources, crap protein sources, like it's just stuff that you just don't need. You know?
Yeah, they have like 20% fat beef mince as their protein, and they're like, oh, it's good fat. It's like,
Conran was having, like, Conran told me he had like a burger, he had two of them, and it was like 45 grams of fat for and I was like, mate, what are you doing? Like,
people go, oh, red meat is good quality fat. It's like, not really. Like, if you get like a good quality red meat that's lower fat, then but
also it's because it's more expensive. People just don't want to spend the money. So that's that. That wasn't that bad of one. I think that was actually alright.
I think it's just how you said it.
Yeah, you were harsh, that mate. Yeah, you were harsh.
Underrated or overrated?
Okay.
Music during training. See, I've got some good ones.
Yeah, that is a good one, to be fair. Yeah, that is good. My next one, mate, I'm pulling out a cracker.
I bet it's like,
no, it's not going to be
training.
Food. Lifting weights.
Life.
It's actually about life. You know what, man? I'm going to counteract. I just thought one about depression in bodybuilding. Like, overrated. Underrated. I made the most progress ever when I was depressed, brother. Yeah. Right. I've actually forgot what it was.
Music during training. Underrated
for the vast majority, I'd say. I'd say overrated eventually, but underrated when you're getting into it. Like, I think how a gym is environment-wise, music-wise, pretty important. Yeah. I'd say getting your mindset right, getting something that like gets you a little bit, like, not even like stupidly focused, but just enough to be like switched on. Like, if you're listening to like Drake's newest album and you're about to go in on a deadlift set, I'm sorry, like you ain't gonna deadlift that well, you know. But if you're listening to an old Drake song that was maybe a bit emotional that got you switched on, cool. But like, I think it's one of those where like I've never thought to myself, oh yeah, new music comes out, so I'm gonna listen to it in the gym. Like, fair enough if you're doing it for like the mental benefits and like health benefits, but if you're actually trying to bodybuild, like, you probably do need to listen to some songs that are actually going to be like getting you somewhat focused and switched on, and not just listen to like what's on your top 10 most liked songs and played.
Yeah, I think a lot of people overrate it.
Yeah,
but I'd say for the wider population, the general population, it's underrated. Like, you go into Pure Gym and they'll have adverts on, like, while people are training. Like, if you didn't have headphones and like, imagine like mid hack, an advert comes on, like, it could easily throw you off a little bit. Like, it shouldn't, but it could. Like, so yeah. And also I think as well, like, for people who need to learn about their breathing and their bracing, like, they've got music blaring in their ears, and it's like, are you even like, can you even think? Like, no wonder you failed 8 reps early. It's because you're just rushing through it because the music's too loud and you're just panicking. So I do think some people almost overrate it and think, oh, I'll just put a song on and it'll make sure the set's good. Yeah. It won't. Yeah. So I'm going to say overrated based on that. I think that's quite.
Yeah,
I think it's both good.
Yeah, Let us know. This is when we need our mediator in the middle to say Reese wins, Finn wins. Right. So again, hear me out. Because you're okay. No, it's not. Under or overrated? I put relationships within bodybuilding. Okay. So let's say, because you might go, relationship, that's so wide. You mean your mum? You mean your girlfriend? your brother? All right, let's be real. Let's be mature. Let's say a girlfriend within a relationship. Do you think it's an underrated asset?
Why
Partner.
are you assuming? Yeah. Don't
boyfriend?
assume.
Well, me and Finn are boyfriend.
They
boyfriend.
friend.
If anybody's watching this, we're actually homosexuals
It's
together.
a they friend.
It's a they friend. We're they. I'm the more dominant one.
I'm they.
I'm they. I'm he because I'm the more dominant one.
I'm they.
Yeah, Finn's they.
No, we're both they.
We're both they. We're both equal.
I think everybody's they.
Everyone's equal. Anyway, relationships with bodybuilding.
Sam, cut all that out. So someone will get offended.
Keep it in. Offend them.
I'm joking, don't really.
Yeah, please don't. Relationships and bodybuilding under or overrated because.
Are you on about like? I don't know.
I think on one side you could be like, I just want to live on my own and just crack on. Like, would you say it's a? If you were to have somebody who was to come to you and go, I've got such a good circle, mate, would you be like, it's probably like, wait, you might not need those people or those people around you, or would you say?
So you on about relationships? Are we talking about a partner, like
I'd say so,
a girlfriend, a boyfriend,
someone you're living with,
whoever they want to identify. Yeah. I would probably say overrated because people put so much pressure on it. Like, oh, my partner is doing this, so I have to do this. Yeah. Or my partner's not been like very supportive this week, so it's meant about a horrendous week. It's like, it can be difficult if they're not supportive or if they're not helpful. And like, I'm very lucky, like Shannon's class, like, but not everyone has that. Yeah. So I would say, like in that sense, like Shannon, like if I didn't have Shannon, like that would make the prep harder, so it would be underrated. Yeah. But for a lot of people, I think they put so much pressure on how supportive their partners are, or their friends, or their mum, or whoever. And it's like, you do know, like, you don't need that. You can do it on your own, like, or you can still make progress if your girlfriend isn't into training. You know what I mean? Like, me and Shannon, we train together now and again on holiday and stuff, but Shannon's not in love with bodybuilding. Like, but she knows that I enjoy it. Yeah. Likewise, like, there's things that she enjoys that I'm not in love with, but it's like, we still support each other, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, I don't think it's like, oh, my
orgies by other people.
My girlfriend doesn't.
My girlfriend loves them. I don't, but my girlfriend loves it with other people.
My girlfriend loves threesomes with other blokes where I just sit and watch, but I'll just do it anyway.
I hate it and cry, but I weirdly enjoy it as well.
I think there's something called cuckold or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
For it. Yeah, but no. I would say that like the amount of times that I've had conversations like that with clients where they're like, they'll almost put all of their
pressure on other people. Yeah. Well, do you remember? We won't mention names, but that individual, and you were like, I'm gonna be so bad in prep. To his girlfriend when we were there, and we're like, mate, like you don't even know, like you shouldn't be putting that pressure on them.
Like, and I'll name, like, I remember George Osborne, and he wouldn't mind me saying this. I remember when he was with his ex-girlfriend, he was sort of saying like, if we can get through this prep, then we can get through anything. It's like almost like a bit, you're thinking quite negatively already. Yeah. And like I think if you're going into a prep thinking I'm gonna end up being horrible to my partner, or like you're already on the back foot, like, and again you don't need to be like blinkers on in the trenches because you're prepping and like block everyone else out. Like your life shouldn't stop because of a contest prep. You just have to work other things around it and understand that you have to be a little bit more selective with your time, and maybe you can't go out for a meal every weekend that your partner wants to, but you go to the cinema instead, or like. So yeah, I think it's a difficult one to say under or overrated because like it depends on the partner. Yeah. If the partner's a dickhead, then they're overrated and they're taken away from your life. Yeah, exactly. But if they're amazing and you're a dickhead to them, you're underrating them. Yeah. So it's both.
Yeah. Good answer. Your one, mate.
Sleep supplements.
Oh,
you see how overrated. Bit more.
Yeah, overrated. Straight
I think.
Yeah, without even thinking about it. Yeah.
Now I think they're overrated, but I do actually love Supreme Sleep Fin 10.
You know what? I asked Pete, and it was out of stock, and he just sent me my normal subs, and I haven't got it, so I'm going to message him being like, Pete.
He sent me mine. He sent me yours as well to me.
Yeah, did he?
He said you're actually on it with your sleep routine, so I'll send you both. Reese is shit with his sleep routine, so I'm not going to send him it.
Yeah, I said, you can have it. You can have double.
No, I think, I would say overrated, because like people will just have an awful routine and they'll be like, oh, but it's all right, I'll take Supreme Sleep or Fade Out or whatever, and it'll be fine. It's like, no, you need to actually nail your routine. But if you are nailing your routine, then they can help. Like 100%. Like I literally have my Supreme Sleep like just after my final meal, and within like half an hour or so, I'm like, I feel really chilled. Yeah. I know that I'm gonna get a good night's sleep.
When do you take it in relation to sleep?
about an hour before.
Really? Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Because like then when I go to bed, I'm like
Yeah.
definitely not doing anything else in bed at the minute. So I just
No,
straight
nothing.
to sleep.
Yeah,
I don't even have to contemplate anything else.
The
happening.
second that Shannon sees that Supreme Sleep, she's going to be like, oh, no, another night.
Every night.
Another day.
There was
Maybe tomorrow.
One night. This was probably like a week ago.
I forgot to take Supreme Sleep.
No.
I just shagged her. Shagged straight away. I whispered, I ain't done my Supreme Sleep.
No, I took a little bit more because I had like a bit of a stressful day, and I was like, I could tell I need to just like switch off, and I was like, fucked.
What do you mean fucked?
I was like, I was walking down to bed.
You were
like,
already
my,
asleep.
Like living room areas above where I go to bed, and I was walking downstairs, and I was like, fucking hell, I'm like, I'm gonna fall asleep if I'm not careful. I was like, Shannon was like, you alright? I was like, yeah, I'm just need to get to bed. So yeah, if you want knocking out, guys, Supreme Sleep.
Fin 10 or Reese Fit 10, whichever you prefer. Whoever you prefer.
Was yours not Reese 10?
Reese Fit 10.
Oh, is it? It's a bit
Yeah.
long. Fin 10's short and sweet. Just get that typed in. Save yourself a few seconds.
Yeah, Reese Fit 10. Yeah, Fin 10 for it's only 6 things, six letters under. It's 4 letters.
Saves
2
you
numbers.
loads of time. 6 characters.
Yeah. Right, my one. Metabolic stress.
Okay.
Mate, I've turned it around.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I've turned it around. My last few have been good.
Overrated.
I agree. I thought you'd say, yeah, it's a main driver of hypertrophy though, mate.
It's not.
Yeah, I don't really view it as like just do pump work and congrats, you won't really grow.
I think it's got its place in terms of enjoyment.
Yeah.
And feeling good and getting maybe a good pump at the end of a session, and getting some good post workout photos make you feel good. Like that's all warranted. But in terms of it actually being a primary driver of hypertrophy, then realistically it's not. Like we were literally having this conversation yesterday. Like if you wanted to just if you thought that getting a pump is what's going to make you grow, you wouldn't even worry about what load you're doing. You'd just have really short rest periods, really high volume, supersetting everything, sort of 15 to 20 reps, leaving a few reps in reserve as soon as it gets hard, just to get a lot of blood flowing. Like, are you really going to grow doing that? Like, probably not. Like, yeah, the sessions might be fun and you might get a good pump, but you're not going to actually be progressing that stimulus and that mechanical tension, which is actually what is going to force you to grow.
Good answer.
Thanks,
Yeah.
mate.
Agreed.
Okay, last one
Overrated.
from me. Knee/elbow sleeves.
Mate, you didn't say it. Underrated or overrated?
Underrated or overrated? Did you forget what we were doing?
Yeah. I didn't know. You asked me. I was like, what about elbow sleeves, mate?
Underrated or overrated? Knee/elbow sleeves.
Oh,
I know your answer for this anyway. I know my answer.
I think overrated.
Massively.
Yeah, I think but I also think they have a good. It's one of those because the ones we choose are obviously going to be in the middle, or they're going to be debatable, because for the average Joe, you could put lifting belt. That would be a good one, because you start out training and it's you need my lifting belt. Yeah. I got in a conversation with somebody the other day, through him talking to me, saying I use do you use elbow sleeves? When we're at Premier, and I was just like, if I need them, mate. And he goes, I always put them on. I always need them, and it's all right, cool.
Well, I was doing some form feedback for Conran,
yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, mate, it was a bit of a shit session. I couldn't get my knee sleeves on; they're too tight." And he was sort of saying that that didn't ruin the session, but he was like, that was a reason that I got a bit pissed off, and the session wasn't the best. And I was like, mate, come on, you can't be reliant on knee or elbow sleeves to make the most of your session. You know what I mean? Imagine if we both forgot our knee sleeves yesterday, the session would have been the exact same. Yeah. We might have felt maybe a little bit more sore through the knees on the squat press, or we might have reduced the load a touch. If we didn't feel, we probably wouldn't have done. But if we didn't feel quite as safe, we might have gone, I'll just do slightly lighter, slightly higher rep. It wouldn't have impacted the session to the point where we're that was a shit session because we forgot our elbow sleeves or our knee sleeves, or any kind of train. If I forgot my belt or your seat belt for a machine, it might help and it might make the movement slightly better. But if you haven't got it, it's not going to be oh fuck.
What would you say about lifting straps? So I'd say underrated. Because I'd be if I left
I was
going
to put straps, because straps are underrated. So straps are the only one I guess that I'd be
especially the Conte ones.
Yeah, I don't have them.
Yeah,
any chance, Jack or Pete?
Yeah, and can I have my Supreme Sleep, please, Pete? Supreme Sleep,
Pete, no? please. Straps are underrated. When I set up a client, obviously they have a sort of gym bag list, and I'll say straps. These are essential. Like you
Yeah.
need these for your pulling work. Like
Yeah.
I don't want you doing like back training without these because you're gonna find that your grip, your forearms fatigue before your back or your pulling musculature. But then I have like wrist straps, and I'm like, you don't really need these, but if you want them, I'm like knee and elbow sleeves. You don't need these, but if you want them, you can.
Yeah.
Belt, you don't need it, but if you want it, like so they're almost like it's up to you, but make sure you've got straps.
Yeah. Right. Last one for me. Underrated or overrated? And I'm gonna say 1 to 2 RAR, not RAR in general. 1 to 2 RAR.
Okay. Underrated.
Explain why.
Because I think true 1 to 2 RIR is close enough to failure to still get a lot out of your training. I think most people's 1 to 2 RIR is
Probably like their failure. Like
most people's 1 to 2 RIR is probably what I would class as like maybe 5 to 6 RIR.
Yeah.
Like as soon as it gets a touch difficult, they're like, oh, that's probably 1 to 2
yeah,
RIR. And they
yeah.
wreck.
Most people's
Yeah.
But legit true 1 to 2 RAR.
Oh, a true 1 to 2 RIR is like really hard training.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you think 1 RIR is you'd get one more rep,
Yeah.
maybe like.
Well, mate, if it's 1 RAR, I mean,
Yeah,
one
but-
rep in reserve, say maybe. I mean,
Yeah, but let's say so
Does
you
that
know when
work?
people are like, oh, I took it to failure, but they didn't actually fail.
yeah,
Like you don't
Yeah.
actually know. Like
Yeah.
what's stopping you is your perception of
Yeah.
like I probably won't have another one.
yeah.
So like again, RIR training as a whole is difficult to actually judge.
That's
anyway.
why I thought I do want to, because if it was like RAR in general, I'd probably say slightly overrated based off how people
Yeah.
place such an importance.
But again, true like if it was true 1 to 2 RIR training, if you've trained for long enough to be able to sort of develop that and kind of know where that's at, I'd say that's underrated because
Yeah.
I think you can still get a lot out of that. You can generate less fatigue. Can probably add a little bit more volume from that.
yeah,
But yeah, it's a difficult one because I think it depends on everybody's own 1 to 2 RIR.
no, I agree. I think it's what if it's legit RAR, I think underrated. I think if it's RAR in general, like it's probably slightly overrated. But I think it's like it's what most things like you always have to be slightly in the middle, you know.
I can't.
But
It's gotta be-
yeah,
it's gotta be
yeah
right
I'd
with
say
it.
underrated based on that. Right, well, let's do a bonus round off the top of my head, something funny / like something a bit silly
Anal.
or overrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you say? Overrated?
Yeah, overrated.
Do you even remember?
What
Do
when
you-
I
yeah.
when I was done
Yeah.
when I was done anal.
Yeah, it depends really. Sometimes really
If
painful.
it's
Like,
if you're
Yeah.
taking it, it's underrated.
yeah.
Giving it is overrated.
Yeah, let's give it overrated. No, let's do one like again. Okay. Ben and Jerry's over or underrated?
Probably overrated.
Would you say so?
I don't know. It's nice, like, but
What's your favourite Ben and Jerry's?
probably just cookie dough.
Yeah, I've
Although
only
I
ever been
do-
disappointed whenever I've deviated.
No, there's I can't remember what it's called, but there's one where it's like there's a core, like caramel core.
Okay.
So it's like in the middle, it's like got like gooey caramel. That's quite nice.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Is it? I don't know what's the wider spectrum. Are people obsessed with Ben and
I
Jerry's?
think a lot of people love Ben and Jerry's. Yeah.
Uh,
What about
if
Halo tops? When people are like, I had a Halo top. I always say, to them, just have a fucking Ben and Jerry's, which don't eat it all.
I don't
like-
know. Halo
I've never
top-
had a Halo top. Are they nice?
They're decent. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like the peanut butter one,
Okay.
and like obviously calories wise, it's a lot lower.
Yeah, they're a couple hundred, aren't they? Like 300,
It's like
400?
300 for a tub. So if you
Yeah.
share a tub,
Yeah.
you're having like what? Even if you have a bit more than the person you're sharing with, it's like
Yeah.
200 calories. It's not a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you were to have a full Ben and Jerry's, it's 1,000 calories.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's probably a bit nicer, but it's still just.
I don't
ice
think
cream.
anybody. I don't think I'd want to eat a whole Ben and Jerry's though. Like, I've never thought to myself it's
No,
easy to eat.
I've shared them. Like me and
Yeah.
Shannon, like back when I was like peak off season on.
Well,
like,
back when I was a week out.
Yeah, back when I was a week
In
out,
between
we were
shows.
smashing it in.
Yeah.
No, like we'd maybe get like now and again, we'd have a Domino's and we'd get a Ben and Jerry's.
Fucking hell! No wonder you were 230. That's impressive.
233.
Yeah.
Don't forget those three.
Yeah,
pounds.
don't forget
Worked
3
hard for
pounds.
those 3 pounds.
Yeah.
But yeah, only like very rare to be honest. Like, and if we did, like, I think what we used to do is if we were to get a dessert,
Yeah.
we'd get a medium pizza, and if we were
Yeah.
to not get a dessert, I'd get a large pizza. I think Shannon would still get a medium.
Yeah. What, medium each?
I'd have 2 mediums.
Yeah, 2
And
mediums.
Shannon would have a small,
Shit, okay,
and I'd be
right.
like, "That's all you're allowed."
Yeah.
And now give me your crusts as well.
And also that Ben and Jerry's 80% mine.
Yeah. Now go and get the Ben and Jerry's out of the freezer because I can't get it out
Do-
of the seat.
Do it now because I can't move. I'm too heavy. Sound. Anyone else that has popped in your head, mate, that you think would be funny to end on or
Mate,
different?
we've got. If we're doing it as a series, we're gonna.
No,
we
but like
can't
Ben and
use up
Jerry's
all
isn't
our
about
funny
bodybuilding.
ideas.
But like, that isn't about
I
bodybuilding.
did a funny one.
What, the anal?
Yeah.
Okay, sound. Anal, guys. Under or overrated? We
Yeah.
our monetization's
below.
not occurring. We're not going to get any views on this now.
I get loads of money from these anyway.
Yeah, I get loads. Right, that's that. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed. If you have any overrated things, message us.
We'll put
yeah.
next week when we put a box up, we'll put under or overrated topics.
We also need to do Jack Morgan's food.
Yeah.
You message him. So, like, drop him a message and be
JP's
like,
20-minute food Q&A.
yeah. Right, that's that. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed. Bye-bye. See you later.